A new, even better farm has been found in New World to get the perfect gear, and people are not happy about it as you have to stay here over and over again, killing one enemy to get your perfect amulet. And people have been making videos about how bad the gearing in New World is and why it needs to change if you want the game to continue in a good manner. But are they actually correct, or are they exaggerating? What's the situation here? Are they just elitist veterans? Or is there something important to talk about here? I'm gonna try and break this down for you, especially as a new player myself. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. And let's get into it. So why do people go through this type of content to get gear in this game? Well, it's because of perks. Every piece of gear you get will get different perks, different amounts of it, and also different types. You can get perks that make your heavy attacks do more damage, like this one right here. You can get some of them that gives you crit, some of them that punishes you for being low health but benefits you from having more health. Some of them get more health, some that benefit your cooldown. It's honestly a pretty cool system that makes build creation in this game pretty awesome. I can go for any type of build I want. A fire build, a lightning build, a crit build, a lifestealing build, a full tank health build, a block build. Anything that exists in the game, there's a perk for it, and they interact with each other to make you be able to do exactly what you want. But this also means that in order to get what you want, you're gonna have to farm for the gear. And because there's so much different types of perks, to get the perfect one for your setup is going to be very, very annoying. And this is why people go for this type of content. They kill one enemy over and over again in order to get more chances of getting the perfect drop, which means that your inventory ends up looking like this, with a lot of items that are maybe okay, but will work in certain situations and not on other situations. And you almost never want to get rid of some of these ones because, well, what if I find a build that this works with? I don't want to lose it. So I'm just gonna be filled with all these locked items so that I don't salvage them by mistake, and I have to go through everything to make the perfect combination. And other games have things like this as well. Monster Hunter, for example, has a very similar system with gems, where you pick and choose different gear that has different perks to make your build. But the thing is, you also have the decorations that you can combine to make the perfect build for you. There's not that much RNG to it. Even in ARPGs, you get a lot of choices in the way that you want to change your perks, your stats. You have ways to craft, items to get, things to get a piece of gear that is pretty good into something great. You don't have that in New World. This is literally an ARPG system, right? This is what it is. But it's fully RNG. You have no way of controlling it. You don't have any loot filters. You don't have... If you don't get what you want in your piece of gear, there's nothing you can do. You can replace one and put another one. If you don't have a gem, you can't craft on top of it to put the gem in. It's this... like there forever. Yes, you have the charm slots, but if you don't get lucky and don't get the charm slots that you want, you're cooked. And honestly, I don't even care that this is in the game. I think it's kind of cool that an MMORPG has an ARPG system inside of it. Like the gearing is like that. There's a lot of grind to get the perfect min-maxed set. And in a lot of ways, it doesn't even matter because if you have an okay set, you will be able to do almost all content. The faction gear, for example, is insanely powerful for many, many, many builds. It's very good perks and they're very cheap to get. But you have to do something in the game, and eventually, after you get that type of gear, you're gonna want to get something better, and that means you're gonna have to not actually play the game, but instead farm one ad over and over again. This is made even worse by all the requirements you need to go into content. You want to have essentially one conditioning per type of damage that you may encounter in each type of content. This means that you want certain gear with a verbal conditioning, certain with void conditioning for different types of dungeons, and you can indeed just go and get yourself one setup that has everything on it, so you don't have to min-max it, but then obviously you're gonna be sacrificing something. And I'm sorry, but does this really make the game more interesting? To have fire protection for your fire dungeon? To change your gear for every type of content you're doing? Does it really do anything? I don't think so. It doesn't make builds. It doesn't break builds. It's just a requirement to do the content. You also have the potions, which are already kind of annoying. And plus this, it just makes everything way more convoluted. I wish you could just go for perks that make your build work, right? You're on a crit build, you get crit perks, right? There could also be some other perks that are more tanky in some way, but they're overall tanky. And maybe you could even have 1 or 2 specific things that you can get in very situational situations. Situations, that's fun. But they would not be needed in other moments, only in very particular ones, and you're making a commitment to it, and you would normally run it. The idea of New World's gearing is pretty cool. To go do the type of content that you want, to get the gear that you want, and start getting sets and artifacts and all this other stuff. But when you pair this up with the RNG that it has in everything inside of the game, it ends up making it very, very annoying and unfun. And it feels very unpolished. But I don't want them to make it disappear. I want them to just keep going with this type of content, this type of gearing. Just make it more easy to do, that we have more power over the way that we have RNG. The amount of perks that we have in the game is pretty interesting. The type of game that New World is very interesting. It's not something we've seen in an MMORPG before. A seasonal MMO that also has a lot of aspects that are close to an ARPG, like Diablo, the artifacts, the infixes, all these things are super cool, and New World can compete with other MMOs with this system because they don't have something like this, and they never will. But you're gonna have to give us something to interact with it. It cannot just be RNG and nothing else. People have been complaining that crafting is now useless. Well, this is the perfect moment to make crafting into something useful that can interact with the perks that you put in your gear. Imagine if you can put one of your items in your crafting, in your workshop or whatever, and change a random perk or make a random perk more powerful. Double down in what ARPGs have been doing for years. Understand what they're doing and use this for your advantage. You're not gonna compete with World of Warcraft in terms of amount of content. You're not gonna compete with Guild Wars 2 in open world. Well, this is the way that you can compete. And this was a cool experiment, and it kind of works. And New World is kind of set up to be working this way, but double down on it. Don't cancel it. Keep going and make it more fun. And make yourself a staple of the MMORPG genre in this way. But let me know what you guys think. Am I wrong? Do you guys would rather some easier way of gearing, some more MMORPG, just get more strength, get more dex, get more intelligence, and that's it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Go to my Ko-Fi if you want to support my content. Go to my Twitch to watch me live every morning. See you guys around. Love you all. Ciao, ciao.